Well, we can talk about that a little bit. So let's tag on a little intro, and we'll get going whenever you feel like you're ready. So just let me know.
Look all right?
Yeah, you look great.
A little sideways. That's better.
So hey guys, Nick here. Because as it turns out, after we recorded the initial panel discussion with the whole group, we got an email in from Jason Shepard asking some specific questions for Jose that we wanted to make sure got answered, because we thought some of them were fairly good questions and we had asked for questions, and his timing worked out where we got the email like roughly an hour after we finished the recording session, and we thought, well, shoot, let's just schedule a time. Jose and I talk all the time anyway, so we would like just schedule a time to get Jose and me on and just go through the questions and get some extra answers from Jose and get a couple of extra things going on. So here in the middle of a Wednesday afternoon, how's your week been going, Jose? Good?
Good. Hey guys. Yeah, no, it's good. Pretty busy. I think I'm at like 4 or 5 for the week so far.
Nice. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, so Jason asked a couple of questions, and we'll kind of go through them one by one. Not take too much extra time, I don't think. But so question number 1, what kind of leads do you run?
I do RGI leads. I've never done anything else except for RGI leads.
And RGI is direct mail?
It's direct mail, yes. Okay. So I get those 20 every week.
Okay. That answers question number 2, which is how many leads a week are you working? Can you tell us a little bit about why you use RGI leads, or is it just because it's the only lead you've ever used? Or
well, from what I hear, it's the best in the business, but I didn't know that, going into it. It's the only lead I've ever known. So that's what I started with. It was working, and it's been working ever since. I never saw the need to change it.
Cool. Is it one of those leads that offers like a Walmart gift card, or like what?
No. So it's just it just says you may qualify for a state regulated program, pay for your final expenses. It's important you know how to qualify for these benefits available to you.
Cool.
Takes care of 100% of your funeral costs. It doesn't offer anything like that, like a Walmart gift card, and people fill these out. They just send them back. I have a picture of one if you need to see one.
Yeah. But it does say it's a state regulated program on it. Does your lead card say life insurance on it?
My lead card does not.
Interesting.
Yeah. Right. When I started, it did, I believe, for about 6 months. And I started with 25 leads. So when I first got in the business, it was a big gut punch to put up the deposit and all that. But, I guess it just different people. I knew it was better than what I was doing. So it was a step up for me for sure. There was no fear. There was no failure. Wasn't even. I was just so excited to do something better than what I was doing that didn't even register. And so I started with 25 leads because that's what they said was ideal. And after about 6 months, 7 months, I realized I had so many extra leads that I wasn't touching or ended up just leaving behind. So I dropped down to 20, and I've been at 20 ever since for the past 3.5 years or whatever.
Nice. All right, excellent. All right, so Jason then asks, what is your approach in running them? Door knocking, appointment setting, or a mixture of both? And we touched on this a little bit before, but why don't you kind of go into how you approach running a lead real quick?
Okay, so print off my 20 leads. I separate them. I work 2 different sides of my county because it's so big. And sometimes I will have 10 and 10, or sometimes I'll have 15 and 5. So the side of the county that gets less leads, I might wait a week or 2 till they pile up a little bit, until I get about 10 or 15 in that area. Then I'll call through them and set appointments there. I'm typically in that area once a week. Because I call through, sometimes even if I get 5 leads or 10 piled up in that area, I will still call through all the old leads that I've had there before, and I end up getting 7 appointments anyway. So,
and is that your goal to have?
Yeah,
That
7
you're
appointments is my day in the field. Yeah.
okay.
So so I go in that area once a week, and then where the vast majority of my leads are, that's where I go 2 days a week or three if I need to. It depends how hard I'm trying to run. You know, how much business I want to do. Um, but so I print off my leads. I put the little map that I said earlier, or I'm going to say in the second video, I think that I put on them, kind of where they're at geographically. Uh, and so it allows me to, it's kind of like Spotio, but it's manual, you know.
Cool.
Um, and I call and set my appointments, and I look for 7 appointments. Very rarely I'll run 8, and it would have to be something like they can only meet at 7:30 because my last appointment's at 6. So
Mm-hmm.
if they can only meet at 7 or 7:30, I will put an extra appointment out there, and I start at 9. So every
Right.
hour and a half up to 6 p.m. Um, and so every time I go in the field, I have no less than 7 appointments. That's bottom. That's minimum. I won't go out with less. I'll just call for an extra 3 hours if I have to get that extra 1 or 2. And then once you're in the field, I get no showed too. You know, so uh, if I'm no showed or if there's not going to be a sale, I kind of find out quickly there's not going to be a sale. I cut my loss and I go, and I don't waste time. And that's when I'll door knock.
Cool.
So I'm supplementing all the time that I'm not with an appointment with door knocks. And it just forces you to become good at both. I think that's how you pick up the most premium when you're good at both things, not just one.
Absolutely. No, I 100% agree with that. I think that's it's good to have both skills, and at certain points you're going to have to do a little bit of both, no matter who you are. I guess unless you're 100% door knocking, then I guess you don't really have to do any appointment setting. But that's still a hard thing for me to wrap my head around, is people who don't set any
I don't
appointments.
know. I think that's kind of a grind. I don't know if they see it the way I do, but if it was all door knocks, I mean, a lot of people you're going to deal with people aren't home, um, and a lot of I think it picks up more rejection than having set appointments. You know,
Mhm.
um, it's I
Right.
wouldn't want to go that route,
I
but
know.
I
I know
do
how you
do
feel.
it.
I know there's people out there that love it, but it's hard for me to wrap my head around that one.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's a question which is interesting for you to answer because you are now the IMO, or the agency at least. So it says, are you a believer in buying leads from your IMO slash agency slash upline, however? Or do you think that agents should outsource and control their own leads?
Um, I've only known buying them through my IMO.
Hmm.
I believe some mail houses only work with individuals through an IMO,
RGI is one of them.
and
Yeah.
right, RGI is one of them. So I don't see it as necessarily buying them through my IMO. It's just uh, I think personally, I think that's the best quality lead. So if you want the best quality lead, you have to go through the group that they do business with.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you can just buy need a lead or stuff like that, and they're probably okay too. I don't know. I've never done that. I've always just bought them through my IMO, but I don't buy them in the way where folks say they get free leads through their IMO or something like that.
Right.
Uh, I buy them with my own money, and they're my leads.
Right.
There's no mixture of the two there. So if I left, all my leads are with me. You know, they're
Sure.
I own them. They're not resold or they're not recooked or anything.
Well, and that's important also, right? Because you have that arrangement, and I'm sure with your agents that are below you, at your agency at CFC, like you're never going to resell any of the leads that your agents,
No,
if they
no,
buy them through you. But that's not
correct.
always true with every agency or IMO, and that's something that, if you're watching the video, you should check. It's something that not a lot of agencies advertise that they will do that. Some do. Don't get me wrong. There are some agencies that are like, "Hey, you got 6 months of this lead, and then we're selling it to somebody else." But
Yeah, I've heard that.
there are a lot of agencies that make it sound like they don't ever resell their leads, and really, if you ever leave, they feel like your leads are up for grabs, or if
Right.
you accumulate too much debt, they feel like your leads are up for grabs. And you should just know, that should be something that you're aware of.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't work that way. All my agents, the leads that they purchased are 100% theirs. You know, I don't. That's they bought them. Why shouldn't they be theirs? You know,
uh,
I didn't pay for them.
I, I agree. All right, so here's we got two more questions. Um, One is going to be pretty quick because I know that you are not even familiar with this term. But the question is, what are your feelings about running the T? Jose, do you know what they mean when they say running the T?
I don't even know what that means.
Okay. So there is it comes from cold canvassing. There is a system when you are doing door to door sales that you get taught when you don't have leads, which is you either go to your lead's house if you have a lead, but you don't have very many. You go to your lead's house and you run that appointment, or you go to see an existing client and you go do an appointment with your existing client, do some service work. And then when you leave, you go to the neighbor on either side and then across the street. And that makes a T.
I gotcha.
And
No, I don't.
that's called running the T. You just go knock on their doors and say, "Hey, I was just meeting with Mildred, who lives at number 3. I know this that you're living here at number 1, and Mildred is really happy with our services, and we just wanted to share with you what we were doing with her." Or then you go to number 5, and then you go across the street to number 4, um, and so that's running the T.
I don't do that. But I think I would if I was in that situation. I'll do whatever I have to do to make if I didn't put up the deposit for my leads and have steady leads coming in every week. Uh, you know, I would do whatever I had to do, but I wouldn't fail. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
If I had to work a T, I'd work a T. I'd make it work. I'd hate it. I'd grind, but I'd
Mhm.
save and I'd come up with the deposit and I would buy leads.
Buy
I'd do it the
leads.
easy way. But I would do what I had to do in the meantime to get it done. And if that is an efficient way of doing it when you don't have any other means, hey, more power to you. But I would definitely do it for a shortest period of time and then get on board with something that's much quicker and more efficient.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
and I'll tell you, I was trained to do that, and when I was with the insurance company that I was with before I went independent, and they do not believe in leads, and they teach you to do that, and they actually help you print off lists of names of everybody in the neighborhood who has a policy with that insurance company. So when you're going around with the T, you can say not just Mildred, but Mildred and all these other people you might know who live in this neighborhood. It works. It sucks. It works. You'll make money. You will
yeah,
absolutely sell. It is so mentally exhausting though. It's a really hard way to do this job. But it definitely works if you don't have a better way. But
yeah.
the last question, which I think is a really interesting question, um, what do you think is the most important change, or maybe not even change, but just the most important thing that you're doing that is responsible for you having a 90% and higher level of persistency with your business? Because that's one of the things you are known for, is not just writing a lot of business, and you do write a lot of business, but you're really known for writing a lot of good business that stays on the books and sticks. What do you think? Why do you think you do that? How does that
Um, this is a personal choice of mine, but I give the client the best price that I carry. And so uh, I think it helps it stay on the books because nobody can come behind me or replace it. They'll buy whatever I'm giving them, but uh, I just always was told, hey, just do the right thing and everything else will take care of itself, and it has been. So I've always just give them the best price that I can, and I think these people check. I think they price check you. They call, things they see on the TV and
work?
they compare it and they're like, nope, we're still good. That they're not going to switch. Or if another agent comes behind, I've come behind many agents. Just one recently, a couple weeks back. Uh, he had been there an hour before me, and this is according to his. I looked him up,
Mhm.
on the Facebook and things like that, uh, and he's a high producing agent, and he
Nice.
left that house with no premium. I show up an hour later, talk with the lady, and ended up writing $200 some worth of over 3 policies.
Did she say
I
why
don't know
he
why
left
he
without
didn't
any?
capture it.
No.
She just wasn't feeling them. That's what she said. I wasn't feeling them. He didn't come with the right stuff. It was too close to what I'm already paying. I don't know.
Mhm.
It's just a
Crazy.
combination of things that. So yeah, I think that is a big part of it. I think the way I explain things to people, if they it's real simple. I explain it simply, and once they get it, they they're not they're not going to switch to sometimes people don't explain things and it's too complicated. They're not going to do business. But if you went in there and explained it right, they understood what you have. So someone comes behind you, uh, maybe you don't do as good a job. They're not comfortable switching because they remember what you gave them. They know what they have. That might have something to do with it. Um, I don't know. Just probably
Yeah.
those two things.
Do you have a lot of problems with people not taking your policies, or with lapses and people not being able to keep up with their payments, anything like that? Rather than just being
Uh,
replaced, but just like other reasons why stuff falls off the books. Do you think that you're doing anything to prevent those types of things?
I've been keeping track of it a lot tighter now,
Hmm.
especially since I talked to you. You actually helped me in that area on our trip, actually, in
Yeah.
was it Jamaica or something? Oh no, this was
Aruba. They all
Aruba.
blend together after a while.
But yeah, you taught me how you do it, and I pick up things from people. I'm like, I like that. I'm doing it. I learn. I'm always a student, so to speak. I'm always improving. I don't, I don't just stay. But yeah, so since I spoke with you, I've been doing a lot more of keeping up with them. And so as soon as get an email, actually once a week now, I check and I call all those people. I have a list now of stuff that's active and NSF and things like that, and I'll call them and I'll find out what happened. And just like you said, 80-90% of the time it's something goofy that happened that they just need to get put back on the books. They
Yeah,
missed a payment, they didn't have money in there. um, but hey, I got money now. You can draft 2 payments if you need to.
right. You just got to
And it
catch them at the right
fixes
time, right?
itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
um,
Well, awesome. Thanks for taking a couple minutes out of your day to come on and answer these questions. I think they were really good questions. I think this is going to be a really nice add-on, especially since the first episode, while we're recording this, the first section has already been released, and people seem to be a little bit upset that you didn't talk as much as maybe they were hoping you did. So this is hopefully a lot of good Jose one-on-one time for those people. And
all right.
all right. And once again, if anybody has any questions for us or anybody in the future, you can reach us at theinsurancepanel@gmail.com. Please share these videos out, subscribe. And if you have any questions for Jose, you can reach out to us at the Insurance Panel and we can put you in touch, or you can go to his website, cfcagentcontracting.com, right?
Yes, correct.
All
And
right.
I think I talk a lot more on the second video, but if you need me to talk more, just keep having me on. I'll keep talking.
Well, what you have to say, people seem to like. So we may have you on again in the future. I would love that,
Awesome.
actually. So awesome.
Right on.
All right. I'll talk to you later, Jose. See ya.
All right. Bye, Nick.
Bye.